broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is www.extremehealthradio.com.
Hey, this is Mark Sisson from marksdailyapple.com. And if you want some of the most cutting edge and empowering health information online, go where I go, to Justin and Kate at extremehealthradio.com.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on another episode of Extreme Health Radio. We're so excited to have Kit Campbell in the studio today, all the way from Australia. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll introduce her in just a second. I hope everybody is doing amazing today. Today's show is episode 333. Okay, we should look at the numbers. What is 333?
Oh.
333.
I think it's a good one. We should ask Kit when she comes on. Maybe she knows.
333. So
I love those triple and double numbers.
I know, right?
Yeah.
If you guys would like to support our show, there's lots of different ways to do that. You can go to extremehealthradio.com/Amazon, and you'll be able to go through our Amazon link and purchase anything there that will help keep the show free for everybody. So we appreciate that. And like I said before, this is episode 333, and our schedule's changed just a little bit. Now we're going to be doing shows on Monday and Friday. We're going to pare down a little bit. We've got some projects working behind the scenes, so we're going to be working on those. But our shows on Monday and Friday will still be at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you guys would like to join us in the chat room and chat live and listen to the show live and talk with the other listeners live, you can do that at extremehealthradio.com/live. And that would be a great way to interact with everybody, make some friends, and listen as the show's going on.
As you like to say, have a little fiesta in the chat room.
In the chat room. Today we have a great guest, former guest, and she was on October 7th, 2013, so almost a year ago.
Oh my gosh.
On episode 156.
Shoot.
But her name is Kit Campbell, and the name of her book is The Irritable Brain Syndrome, and her website is kitcampbell.com. And the first time that she was on, you were on, we spoke about Crohn's disease, digestion, candida, and all kinds of things like that, IBS, and your story as well. So thanks so much, Kit, for being on the show today.
Thank you very, very much for fitting me in. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited.
We can't believe this worked out.
I know.
One of those fate things.
Yeah.
All the way from Tasmania?
Yes, that's where I live now.
Sweet Sassy Molassie. That is very far.
It is. It's at the bottom of the world, thank gosh.
How far is it from Antarctica? Is it
not as far as here? That's all I know.
That's
I'm
true.
hopeless at geography. I thought Norway was the capital of Sweden, so don't listen to me.
Did you grow up in Tasmania?
No, I'm London born and bred, Kensington darling, for most of my life,
okay.
and the last 25 years Australia.
Yeah, do you have
Do you have
a little bit of a mix between accents, I think?
I would do after being 25 years in Australia. A lot of English people think I'm Australian. Americans think I'm Australian.
Yeah.
And Australians think I'm strange. No, they just think I speak
You're
English.
a hybrid.
Yeah.
That's interesting, yeah, because your accent's hard to pin if you didn't know.
Oh, mate, well, I can make it really easy for you if you like.
The Crocodile Hunter.
Right?
Steve Irwin.
Yeah, right.
So how long have you been down in Tasmania?
In Tasmania, living probably about 4 or 5 years now.
4 or 5 years. So you get really nice change of weather and change of season, right?
It's absolutely beautiful, and it's not as cold as England, but we get the 4 seasons, and we've got the cleanest air in the world. But don't tell anybody.
We've heard there's
Yes.
some sort of way the air circulates off the Antarctica, I think.
Yeah, it's the longest distance between two land masses, which is South Africa and Tasmania. So they have a station on the west coast, a Strahan area, and that's deemed as zero pollution. So whenever you see any pollution percentage in LA, Sydney, London, it comes from little old Tasmania.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
Moly,
So
who knew?
clean air, clean water, clean grass, clean vegetables, everything.
I've seen your videos too, and the snow in the background, walking through the woods. Sounds like you're in a
That was in
awesome
England,
spot.
though.
Oh.
That was in England, yes, when my mother wasn't well. So I was in England shooting that one.
Okay.
Does it snow in Australia?
Not where I am.
In
It
Tasmania?
does, yeah. Oh gosh, yes, up on the mountains. But I'm just under 400 meters, so I don't get the snow, but I get frost, which is beautiful and silver and gorgeous.
Eliminates everything.
Have you run into Dr. David Jubb and walking through the woods yet?
I haven't. Damn it!
He's
He
there.
missed me.
He's there. You should say hi to you.
Absolutely, I'll give him a cup of tea.
That is so great. Wow. So it's awesome to have you back. And how did you enjoy the drive down today? I heard you had a little mishap.
Well, I put your address into my GPS thing, and it decided. And I thought I was going to go down the Newport Coast Drive Road to the Pacific Highway, and I've been down that one. I thought I could handle that. And the next thing, she's taking me off to this 405 place, but I misread it and took the 405 the wrong way. So I actually went north, and then I had to come off on another road and come back down south. But I made it, and I was and I was listening to JJ Cale on the radio. I felt like an American.
Nice.
A real American.
I know, it was real cool.
Is it really sketchy driving here?
It was just that PCH. People stick to the highway speed, and then there's people that was just weaving in, and then you have these big trucks. Mind you, we have huge truck trains. We have road trains in Australia that are like 4 or 5 carriages long, truckloads long. So, but I don't normally drive with them. And I'm driving on the other side, the wrong side of the road.
I know, the wrong side, right? Yeah.
You're brave.
I know.
No, it's fun because when we go to Australia, we have a bunch of family over there, and they live in near Manly Beach and near Sydney, and and I love going over there and driving on the opposite side of the road. My favorite is to get there at night and to get and drive on the opposite side of the road at night. I don't know what it is. I just love it. I just love
you rebel.
Flipping everything opposite. I think it's so much fun.
Yeah, he is. He thinks that kind of stuff is fun. I think it scares the living daylights out
I
of me.
love it, the opposite side. It's so cool.
You love a good challenge.
Yeah.
Good for you.
But I think as you get older, some people like my parents don't like to drive even at night here, and they're used to it. It's I don't know what happens.
Well, I have to say, after my last trip in America, getting back home to Australia, I didn't do it on purpose. I was driving on the right-hand side of the road until I saw a car coming up the other way, and I realized I was going on the wrong side. Get back into Australia.
So what do you got going on here? Are you doing some book tours? Or?
I am. I actually came out about a month and a half ago from Melbourne to LA, New York, London, where I've been for 4 weeks, and setting up book signing talks and things like that, etc. I also wanted to connect with Dr. John Bergman, who I've been in communication with, and explain what I'm doing and my research with the connection between candida and cancer, and also how it explains that I had Crohn's disease for 40 years of my life, which I don't have anymore, even though it's meant to be an incurable disease, of course.
Of course.
Wow. So have they done tests, or you just have no symptoms? All the symptoms are completely gone?
All symptoms are completely gone. I guess before you have symptoms, do you have Crohn's disease?
Before you have symptoms.
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Well, I would beg that the answer is no. You don't have Crohn's disease, because you have to have symptoms in order to get given a name by the medical profession. So if you don't have any symptoms, then it begs that you also drop that name. And I think that mentally this is a really important point, that all these people who actually go to doctors saying, I've got this problem and that problem, their job is to find out a name to describe those symptoms and then give you the pharmaceuticals that will give you the ease, supposedly, from those symptoms.
That matches the name. What's the danger for people that are listening? What's the danger in getting a label like that, do you think?
I think the danger becomes that what you believe you create. So when I became very sick at 12 years old, and my first diagnosis was ulcerative colitis, I was very angry and depressed. All of a sudden, I looked up, or I was told what was going to happen to me. I was probably going to get, cancer of the bowel, have my bowel removed, wear a bag and all of that. But it really sort of made me angry, depressed, and all the rest of it. And what happens to our body when we get angry or depressed? We're in fight or flight. What happens there? Well, listen to Dr. Bruce Lipton in, The Biology of Belief. All your preferential blood goes from the viscera, your gut and your organs, feeding you, cleaning you, into your arms and your legs so you can fight or run. So what is going to happen there, and how I've tied it into the latest research, and makes so much sense. What also happens when your immune system is suppressed in this way? Candida albicans.
When your immune system is suppressed, in terms of having that low-level stress from the labeling of the disease, you mean? When someone has the label?
Well, you're not going to be very happy that you've been given a diagnosis,
that is
right?
True.
So there's only two choices in life: to feel good or feel bad.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling bad, your cells are going to be in protection mode. When you're feeling good, your cells are going to be in growth mode. Remember Bruce Lipton?
Right.
Cells can only move in one of two directions. That's it. So if you're in depressed, angry, irritated, low self-esteem, worried, anxiety, all these things, you are definitely in protection mode. So this is what suppresses your immune system. And so do antibiotics, so does the birth control pill, so do steroids, so does so many medications.
Yeah.
Oh, so does food.
Yeah.
So it's all about looking at everything that surrounds your cell in both your lifestyle and how you think. So what you're eating and drinking and how you're thinking, really affect that. So by giving someone a diagnosis, you're going to upset them invariably, rather than say, okay, let's look at your symptoms and let's see what we can do to change this and make this better. I see that as being so much more empowering, and not,
oh my gosh,
not making someone a victim of a name.
Well, too, when you are giving a diagnosis or a disease to someone who's coming in, the typical average person, either American or Australian or anyone that goes into a hospital and talks with a doctor and they get some label, it's not like you're disrupting and causing stress upon the healthiest version of that person. You're causing stress on someone who's already stressed out, already eating genetically modified food. So you're kicking the man while he's down almost. It's already he's already set the stage, for that, and then you give him the label.
You're increasing the process.
Yeah, you just increase.
Absolutely.
Kit, is Candida albicans a medical diagnosis? Do people get diagnosed by a doctor?
That's another word.
Huh?
It's actually a Latin term.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
What's
okay.
that?
Candida albicans.
Yeah.
So it's a Latin word, and that they use Latin in their diagnosis. Like ileitis, ilium.
Why do they do that?
And itis. Well, it's placing it where they need to have a placement in the body to write down what's going on with their patient. So if it was ileitis, it would be ilium, which is the Latin name for that area, and itis, which is Latin for inflammation.
Right.
So put the two together, ileitis. That's how they name it. If there's too many names or not enough names for something, they'll use a doctor's name, such as Crohn's disease, which is after Dr. Burrell Crohn's, 1934 in New York. So, yes.
Or Lou Gehrig's disease. I mean, there's a million of these
Yes.
things. Yeah.
So you'll either use the name of a doctor who's come up with it, or, oh gosh, what should we call it? What's your name? Crohn. Okay, let's use that. Crohn's disease.
Yeah.
Fine. So again, it's just, just a name. But the Candida albicans, in my understanding, and who am I, is the fungus that basically, when your heart stops, it decomposes your body when you die. So it's the thing that breaks down the cells. How? It secretes a hydrolytic enzyme, which breaks down live organic matter. Well, some might say, well, Candida yeast, what's wrong with that? Nothing. It does a wonderful job when it's yeast and when it's in the gut. And when it's in balance and kept in balance with lactobacillus.
So it's got to be in the gut and in balance.
Yeah, with the immune system doing the checks, because that's what the immune system does. I mean, this body is absolutely amazing. But when the immune system is suppressed or compromised, this little cell grows a hyphae, a little bray, a little arm, which starts an intelligent community, if you like.
Wow.
And its job then is to secrete this enzyme, break down live organic matter as opposed to dead organic matter. And where is it right now? We're talking in the bowel, yeah? So what's that going to do to the bowel lining? That's your irritation. That's your inflammation. That's your irritable bowel syndrome.
So that's the holes that are being punctured through the bowel, right, and causing leaky gut. Things like that.
Before it gets there, you've got that inflammation. Let's say it's increased. right? The situation of that person's lifestyle or food or thinking continues. The hydrolytic enzyme's still going to go on. So it starts breaking down the wall, and then you have your ulceration. That's your Crohn's disease, your ulcerative colitis, your ileitis.
Wow.
And then it keeps going because Candida albicans is transmural, which means trans going through mural wall, and it goes through the bowel wall, and that's your diverticulitis and your leaky gut syndrome. And then it breaks out and into the bloodstream.
Diverticulitis, what is that?
In your gut, you have all those layers of cells, etc. As it sort of eats through, if you like, if you're going to use the term of eating, it creates like a little pocket.
In the gut?
Yes, in the gut wall.
Okay.
So in this little pocket, food can get trapped and things, and then not be cleaned properly.
Okay.
So it can cause more inflammation in that little pocket.
There's almost like a little scab or something that grows in there. Or
a lot of people can't eat the nuts and the seeds and things that get stuck in the gut.
Yeah, exactly. But understand this, that the bowel lining repairs itself.
I was just going to ask that next. In 3 days.
3 days. So when I was bleeding from the bowel in 2000 and booked in for surgery to have more bowel removed, I can now understand why all the bleeding stopped in 7 days, because I changed the way that I thought in that period of time, because it blew my mind away. But now with the research that I've done, it makes perfect sense.
So when these things puncture and go through the intestinal walls, they cause leaky gut, and these foreign proteins are getting into the blood. And then as a result of that, you have this hyperactive immune system, or this autoimmune disease, right? So autoimmune could be thousands of different things, right?
It's another word.
It's another word, another diagnosis. And all it means is the body is, help, what's going on? There's something going on. So when your immune system is off with the fairies, and your yeast is turned into fungus in your gut, the body has one way of protecting itself, it thinks. So what it does is it puts its own cells around the fungus mass. It's called encysting.
Okay, say that again. So the fungus mass is in this scenario is in the gut, as you're talking about.
Will be in the gut, because you can have a yeast infection vaginally, in the mouth, in toenail fungus, but we'll stay in the gut for the moment before we've got out of the gut. So what the body does is it makes this little wall around the fungus, right? Mm-hmm. And I spoke to an IBD specialist in Tasmania. He told me the body then puts a capillary growth over this mass because it thinks it's a body part.
Wow.
So it has to feed it. Well, if you go into this colon with a camera, what do you think you're going to see? You're going to see like a little round mass in the bowel. So what's a doctor going to call that? A tumor. What's a tumor? Literally, the word tumor just means a collection of cells. So then what are they going to do? They're going to take a biopsy. How are they going to do that? They're going to take a little pincy thing, and they're going to pinch from outside of the cell mass. Well, what's that going to be? Human cell tissue, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So go back. So what are we going to then do? We'll work out if it's benign or malignant. And I actually thought it would be an actual cell that would say whether it's benign or malignant. But no. Benign means it's just sitting there, doing nothing. Mm-hmm. Your lifestyle might have changed. You might be happy. Someone might have taught you how to eat right. You're breathing properly, and therefore everything just calms down a bit. Doesn't get rid of the fungus, but it just calms down a bit.
Okay.
Or it could be malignant, i.e. growing out of the space, and therefore things are going on still. And this happens in everywhere that the fungus goes, whether it goes into the lungs, the liver, the brain, the breast, and the testes, wherever it wants.
So the doctors don't even know what they're doing biopsies of. All they know is it malignant, or is it a tumor,
Give it
or
a
is
label.
it cancerous? Give it a label. But they don't even really know the pathology of what's happening or why that's there or any of that, do they?
Maybe.
So when they're taking...
Maybe. You think about it. It's a massive industry. The cancer caring industry between stage 1 and 4 is anything from $350,000 in the States to $1 million. All right? And you have around about 99% of people with cancer that have been tested in one institute in America. I won't name them.
Yeah.
All of them had the fungus.
Very interesting.
So how are we going to know if somebody's benefiting hugely from this? How are we really going to know if they're going to say what they find?
Well, maybe they don't even know.
Maybe they don't. Yeah, let's pretend they're ignorant.
Yeah, it's better to lie to ourselves and tell us a story. This sounds good. Makes us feel good, right?
And then they go and use
people.
something like, I've had cancer 4 times, and I've got rid of the last one myself. So, the research that I've told you, and I'm sure you know about this guy, some of it comes from Dr. Tullio Simoncini. So I'm now in connection with them. And I just love his work.
He's amazing.
Although I find there are, in between everybody's ideas here, there, and everywhere, there's just one bit that doesn't sit with what I've found out. And that's okay, because, we're all trying to find good answers for people.
Yeah, we're all trying to move the whole thing forward. So what bit didn't sit well with you?
He actually said that, I don't want to specify exactly, but I think that what he has done is just amazing, and he cures cancer all the time.
Yeah.
I just wanted him to actually say categorically, this is it. I wanted him to say categorically that this is what cancer was. And of course, I guess he can't. Maybe he can't say that.
Does he still have a medical license?
He got stripped to that. They tried to sue him, but it didn't stop him. He's amazing. He has another institute in Japan.
Oh, does he?
Where they have like 550,000 Japanese suffering. Well, the ones that they found suffering with toe fungus. Now that might seem funny, but if you've got toe fungus, what is above is below.
Right.
It's like with psoriasis, it's fungus. So the psoriasis is just fungus that's flat on the skin.
So what's going on
It's
everywhere?
all coming from the inside.
Sketchy.
And there's all kinds of foods that feed fungus too, which I'm sure you're very
well
familiar
aware
with.
of.
Yes.
So
Sugar being the top one.
Sugar being the top.
Sugar being the top.
Absolutely.
So I'm always curious when people say sugar, there's a million kinds of sugar.
All of them.
So you're talking fruit as well.
Now, interesting, yes. Now, there are a lot of schools of thought with some candida people that you shouldn't have fructose. I have a wonderful alchemist in Canada that I talk to. His name is Tony P. He's the guy that knows stuff. I'm sure you've come across him. He's a crazy, crazy Canadian.
Tony P. What's his last name?
Pantalella.
Pantelleresco.
There you go. Sorry, Tony, if you're listening to this. Oh, gosh, sorry about that.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy.
Right. Well, we communicate all the time. He gives me heaps of grief because basically I'm testing myself. Like with the last cancer I had, a squamous cell carcinoma on the left-hand side of my tongue, which most people have half their tongue removed and down the larynx. I got rid of it myself. I was taking photographs. I was communicating with him, and I've been using some of his protocols and mixing and matching, and it got rid of it in 4 days.
4 days.
Well, 4 days. But here again, the CRR, wow. And I feel that too. Wow, cancer in 4 days. It's the concept of what we think cancer is that we think that's incredible.
Yeah.
But it's actually candida, and it was coming out of the body because I've basically been addressing it Dr. Daniels way with sugar.
Okay.
So that's the GI tract.
Dr. Jennifer Daniels?
That's the one.
Okay, yeah.
And then now after that I started using oil, which then deals with other areas of the body because the body processes the fat in a different way, sending the turpentine into different areas because Candida albicans goes off deep as it can because remember it's a single cell organism that goes towards food and away from toxin, towards growth or protection.
So you did a little bit of the sugar cubes with the turpentine. You start off with a drop or two.
Yes, I did 5 mil, mate.
You're up to 5 mil now?
No, I did for my first YouTube channel. I was absolutely bricking it. I was sitting there with my 3 sugar cubes and the camera in front of me, and I thought, I just have to do this for people, because I've had this sinus problem all my life, and because that's one of the results of having full on candida problems. And I thought, no, I've got to do this. And I thought, I'm taking turpentine. But the turpentine I take is 100% pure gum. It comes from sap, for goodness sake. It's not a petrochemical. I'm not becoming It's that, what's that? There's a website that we know about. It's, I forget what the website's called. Pure Gum Spirits or something like that. But it's completely natural, right? Yeah, it comes from a sap. And it's been used since the Egyptian times or Anchors way ago. Yeah. But it was used by the Rockefellers. They called it kerosene in 1913. And there's a little book I have called A Cure for a Penny. And it was all about how the Rockefellers worked out that they weren't making any money. They were curing tuberculosis, fungus with kerosene, turpentine, supposedly, but I'm not sure that it really is today. And so that they started playing with Agent Orange and came up with chemo. All the chemo stuff.
Yeah,
if you look at the word chemotherapy, it's very hard to find the compound. There isn't one. It's just a name for them coming up with toxins that will. And the reason they did research on the Agent Orange is because the Agent Orange stopped cell growth. So that's what they were trying to achieve. But it'll work on a single cell organism. What's next? Here's the Candida fungus or the supposed cancer. How are they going to determine between that cell and a normal human cell? They can't.
I have to say, they have pretty bad naming conventions. I mean, if you're going to come out with something, chemotherapy, that's a horrible name to try to sell people on. But they do a great job.
Yeah.
I mean,
all
you got to do is use fear. You can call it anything you want.
Right.
And that is so sad is actually anybody who wants to do anything naturally, when they go to their doctor, if they find out they have, I hate saying the word now, cancer, they put the fear of God into you.
Yeah, they do.
You have to do this or you will die.
Yeah.
You know, you can't take this or you can't mix up with this vitamin or that, which is true. You have to be careful with what you mix things with, you know. But that fear factory, it's just so sad.
Did you buy the Pure Gum Spirits or the turpentine online? Have it shipped to you?
I most certainly did. I did that from. I can't remember now.
That's so cool though that you can buy this stuff online.
Oh, it is for the moment.
Yeah.
But I've also gone to my local hardware store because Tony P. He told me where to get it because he went to he's my Canadian Yoda, my Canada. My Canada. But he went to New Zealand and he said when he was over there was Digger's Turpentine, and I went into the hardware store and for $6 instead of $6 for like 50 ml, $6 got me a huge 1.5 litre of Pure Gum Spirits.
And if you're taking how many drops? I mean, that would last you. How long would that last you?
Last me a while, but I've been stocking up. Actually,
yeah.
I mean, shoot.
Because once they realize people, I hope you're listening out there, whoever you are, and they'll probably try and stop you from doing stuff.
Put the kibosh on it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I've got no name for them to discredit. I have just tested myself and successfully so.
So that was part of the protocol you used for the little issue you had going on with your tongue.
That's correct. But as well as diet. So I got cut out all grains. Mm-hmm. So no grains whatsoever. High fat, and protein and vegetables, coconut, all the wonderful antifungal stuff, garlic.
Are you
talking raw, or are you talking like cooked vegetables, or does it
raw as much as possible? Okay. Raw blend drinks and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I'll have a couple of eggs on poached spinach. I like. Sometimes I like to crunch my kale, and sometimes I like to have soft spinach.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, when you had your 4 bouts with different kinds of cancers, like you said, did you self-diagnose that, or did you ever get a diagnosis with those cancers from someone? When
I was going through the Candida testing, like looking at it in the research, etc., I came across the Candida albicans and saw the results from Dr. Tullio Simoncini.
Okay.
And I started doing the protocol of cleaning myself. When the ulcer, I started getting ulcers in the mouth on the left-hand side, always the left-hand side, left-hand earaches, left-hand jaw. I had a lump behind my left jaw. That's completely gone now. And I basically carried on, and then all of a sudden I saw this white mass, a little round, about the tip of a pencil, the back end of a pencil, start to form on my tongue. And I took a photograph of it and then magnified it, and I could literally see the pit. So it was almost like a white mass, but it was eating, like it's caused a little scar. The white mass is now gone, but
Holy moly.
It was sort of there. And then I started treating it like Tullio does, with holding bicarb soda solution, not just the powder, you'll burn something. And I held that in my mouth for minutes at end. I did that regularly. I did the turpentine. And
internally you took that?
I took it with oil. Not sugar, because I wanted it to stay in the location, and I kept shushing it around my mouth.
So how did you take it with oil? What kind of oil, and how did you do that?
I mix it 25 parts to 5 parts.
Is there a whole protocol that you...
I'm getting it together because people say, what's your protocol? Please, please.
Yeah.
And I feel like, it's great to say this is what you should do. However, everybody's different. Mm-hmm. And our body is such an amazing barometer for what's going on. And we need to look at that and not say carte blanche, this is what we should do.
Right. How did you come up with what you decided to do for that? Did you...
By listening to Tony P, by looking at Simoncini's work, using bicarb soda every day, vitamin C every day, magnesium. I use sulfur and copper, which is great. And oh gosh, what else do I use? Loads of stuff. But I've just had my website sort of revamped, and a website designer who's not always around.
I saw that. The site looks awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
I'm getting there, but I want to be able to put some stuff in the gift box, which will be little files of what I come up with, and so people can just download them for free. But they can also have a conversation with me.
You are fun to talk to.
That's right. You offer that, right?
Yeah, because a lot of it's to do with the mind, and I'm sort of like emotional plumber, apparently.
Yeah.
So it's talking to someone and basically calling them on their sugar. Ha
Yeah. So I think probably now would be a good time for a break, right?
Yeah, because I want to get back to some of these questions.
Okay, so Tana says that we all three sound a little bit muffled, but mainly Kit. So we're going to work on that actually during the commercial. We're going to take a little bit of a break. So people, if they want to find you, your website is kitcampbell.com, right?
That's correct.
And has recently been revamped. It looks awesome.
I'm going to check it out right now.
Yeah.
So Kit Campbell, KITCAM, P for Peter, B for Bobby, ELL.com.
And what do they get when they sign up to your newsletter?
Well, at the moment, a little email that says, thank you for signing up to my newsletter.
Right,
After that, it's going to be a little bit more once I get it all together. So as I said on there, thank you so much for your patience, because I'm still waiting to speak to my web designer.
Oh, this is a great site. Ooh.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Check it out.
Okay,
guys.
we're with Kit Campbell. This is episode 333. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back right after this. Did you know that conventional dog food contains antibiotics, herbicides, pesticides, ground up carcasses from roadkill subjected to high heat processing, artificial colors, chemical preservatives, way too many carbohydrates, genetically modified corn syrups, indigestible grains, and a lack of moisture content in the dry kibble? Obviously, this can lead to health conditions like diabetes, itchy skin, teeth and gum problems, liver damage, obesity, behavioral issues, pancreatic problems, and even cancer. That's why we recommend the BARF diet, which is the biologically appropriate raw food diet from Barf World. Their unprocessed raw meats contain bone, organ meats, vitamins, and minerals that are loaded with enzymes. Barf World founder Robert Mueller explains more.
Sure, I don't have to convince you on the damage that's caused by high heat to food. So as a result, we see many skin disorders, a lot of arthritis, obesity, heart disease, cancers. I mean, it's just rampant. The vet clinics are just full of these conditions. And basically a large percentage of the commercial pet food that's is made up of the human industry leftovers. And the pet food industry makes use of this waste product. And in addition to that, we are subjected to the products coming out of the rendering plants. Garbage in, garbage out. If you feed garbage to your dog, you're going to end up with garbage health. And if you put the right gas in, your engine runs smoother and lasts longer. So if you put the right fuel in the tank, you're going to get the right output. Garbage in, garbage out.
We've seen an immense difference with our dog Maggie being on this diet. Give your dog the gift of health today by going to extremehealthradio.com/barf or go to our store. That's extremehealthradio.com/barf to learn even more.
Would you like to feel more energy and a better sense of well-being? What's flowing through your blood makes all the difference. In my 22 years of nutritional practice, I've found that the food and supplements taken into the body determines to a large degree the amount of energy and happiness people have. One giant step in the direction of more energy and happiness is the type and quantity of protein you consume. 2 years ago, I was introduced to a whey protein powder that gave me more energy and a better sense of well-being. Having struggled with low energy, this was a welcome experience. This protein is called One World Whey. It is the first ever undamaged whey protein powder from grass-fed cows. People report the following: profound improvements in blood sugar and energy, elimination of pain, better bowel movements, detoxification, younger-looking skin and fat loss. Athletes love the strength and endurance-producing effects. Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworldwhey.com.
And in my opinion, this is the best raw grass-fed protein powder on the market. It's developed on Amish farms. It's got 25 grams of protein in each single scoop. Crazy amount of protein. Increases your glutathione levels. It helps to release heavy metals and toxins, decreases inflammation all throughout the body, especially in the gut. And not only that, but it helps you build muscle and increase energy as well. It has tons of anti-aging properties. So really, really great protein powder. We like to use it every day in our smoothies. And our resident cancer guru, Ty Bollinger, what do you think about One World Whey?
Over the commercial there, you're talking about One World Whey. I want to encourage anybody that's listening, go to their website, go to Justin and Kate's website, and buy the One World Whey. That's something that we include every day in our diet. Every lunch, we have a One World Whey smoothie with super greens mixed in with it. It is fantastic. It's the best protein you're going to get. And as they mentioned, it's from grass-fed cows. It's organic. It's cold pressed. I mean, it is. You're going to get huge nutritive values from this One World Whey. It's the best protein on the market, I think. So then that's something that most people are deficient in is quality protein. So I highly recommend you go there and go to their website and buy this stuff. It's the best that's on the market. And I'm good friends with Stephen Hewer, who is the owner of Synergistic Nutrition, and he's a quality guy. And they have excellent customer service as well.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. We interviewed him on episode 88, and he's just an amazing guy, and I really love what he's doing. That's why I love supporting his work and love taking his products as well.
Yeah, great stuff.
And if you'd like to support Extreme Health Radio and the work that Kate and I do, you can get your hands on this One World Whey protein powder that I love so much at extremehealthradio.com/whey. That's WHEY. Or you could check it out in our store as well. That's extremehealthradio.com/whey.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
Alrighty, we're having just a conversation of a lifetime here. It's like it just never stops. We're just talking all the way through the commercials. Just having too much fun. Hopefully all of you guys in the chat room are hearing a little bit better audio quality now. Hopefully we don't sound as muffled. But this is episode 333 with Kit Campbell. Her website, if you're interested in that, is kitcampbell.com. KITCAMPBELL.com. She's the author of the book Irritable Brain Syndrome, and it was on our show, episode 156, about a year ago, which is awesome stuff. And we're truly honored to have her here doing a book tour.
In
Decides
person.
To come down
This
and
is just so fun.
brave the freeways. And
I know.
you
I'm
go.
just freaked out what you just said.
What's that?
Well, episode 156, and I'm not a numerologist, but 156, 1 and 5 is 6, 6 and 6 is 12, 1, 2 is 3. My lucky number has been 3 all my life for some reason. And what's today's show? 3, 3, 3.
No way.
That's why there was hands in the air,
Oh my
pom-pom
God.
style.
That's fast math.
I know. And I'm hopeless at maths, or I have been in the past anyway.
What do you know what the what is the word I'm looking for? What did 3 stand for energetically or
I have
spiritually?
absolutely
You don't even
no
know.
idea. It's just a good number for
That
me.
is so cool.
Has that
know.
always been your sort of go-to number?
Since
or?
I was about 6 years old, I worked that out.
Really? Which is
Very
2, 3?
interesting.
Yeah, just number
3 times 2?
No, just number 3.
No, I know, but you're 6 years old, and that's double 3.
Oh, yeah, I suppose it is. Very good.
There you
I'm
go.
sure it was March 3rd, whenever
There you
the year
go.
was.
You're very good.
That's awesome. Well, so cool. I'm so excited that you came down here. And tonight, you've got stuff going almost the whole time you're here, right?
Tonight I'm doing a little bit of a video with a lovely lady by the name of Nikki Stewart she's into Raw. So she's going to be sort of setting up her business. So I'm going to be doing that with her. And
Nice.
tomorrow I'm heading north to LA and getting ready for the marketing and promotion type of thing for the book signing on the 28th at Mystic Journey Bookstore on Abbot Kinney Road, and it's from 6:30 to 8:30. Very excited and very grateful to them.
That is going to be a packed schedule.
So people close to that area could come pop by.
Absolutely.
And you're going to do a talk and then sign some books?
Yeah, I've got.
Awesome.
They gave me 2 hours and they ordered a carton of books, so they've got like loads of books.
Fabulous.
That is amazing.
We'll put a link to that too so people know where to find you.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
So then you're headed over to New York, or was that last trip?
No, that was the last trip.
Okay.
Next stop, yay! Australia, mate. Back home, off to Tassie.
Back home. And you're going to have summertime there.
I am, but I'm
Which will
only
be nice.
home for 12 days.
But then where are you going?
Then I'm off to Melbourne, and I'm speaking at the Mind, Body and Spirit Festival at the Melbourne Convention Centre. So that's great.
Is that a yearly?
No, they pick me up though, and so I do whatever they could ask me if I want to do one, and I say yes, please.
Very cool.
So I'm doing that, and then I'm going up to Sydney, and there's going to be a little talk there, and then up to Brisbane, and another talk there. And
you
then
are one
catch
busy
up with
gal.
people. Well, you gotta go. You know what I mean? It's what is it? The passion drives you, and honestly, I can't see myself doing anything else in life. I really can't. I don't see the point if you're not living your passion. I mean, look what you guys are doing. You know?
Yeah, it's getting to the point where you just can't. You only have so many hours in the day, and you can't waste them doing things that you are not supposed to be doing.
I couldn't.
Crazy.
I just couldn't.
Yeah.
So you're going up to. So what's the Mind Body? What is
Spirit
that?
Convention
Spirit
in Melbourne.
The mind. That's in what is the Mind, Body and Spirit Festival is where a lot of speakers come to speak, and a lot of stalls are collected. So there's people with their own modalities of health, all alternative health. It's great. They're very big.
Wow. And Melbourne sounds like an awesome place. Never been there. I've only been to Sydney and all the way up to Cairns and down and back along the coast.
Along the coast.
Never been to Melbourne.
You surfy dude, you.
I know.
Well, you should come to Tasmania because we have big surf, man. But it'll probably scare you, so maybe you should.
Yeah, that's a little too big.
Funny enough, you didn't surf the whole coast.
Well, actually, you can't surf there because of the blue bottle, or not the blue bottles, but the
Irriganji.
Those box jellyfish. For a lot of those.
Mate, what's wrong with you? You're a bit of a wimp. You just put on a thick wetsuit and off you go.
Actually, I did, but you can't surf up there anyway because the reef blocks a lot of. There's not much waves.
Where's this? Sorry,
Cairns.
In Cairns,
north of Fraser Island, all the way up to Cairns.
No,
not much
that's
surf,
the reef. No, sorry, I thought you meant Tasmania. Just for a minute.
Oh no. Box jellyfish. They try
stingers. They're deadly.
But you just called me a wimp.
No, and I apologise for that, and I'm going to take that back. I thought he was talking about Tasmania.
Okay.
But you were talking about up north. Yeah, no, and I don't understand when you drive that absolutely beautiful coast road.
That's amazing.
It is so gorgeous, but you can't get in the water. What's with that?
Yeah. I know.
How frustrating. So go to Noosa, go to Byron Bay.
Yeah,
exactly.
Noosa and Byron Bay.
Absolutely beautiful.
They have these little areas that are blocked off with nets that you can jump in the water, but it's just kind of like a little bathtub kind of. But
we've had dogs walk along the beach, and there's been a blue bottle just been washed up, and the dog, if it gets caught up in it, can die.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Tasmania sounds like a magical place. Though. It seems like
you can ski and surf in one day.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can do that here, but you have to drive a lot. You know, on the wrong side of the road. On the 405, it's not fun.
Yuck.
But during the break, you guys were talking about some really cool things that I had my headset on. So you guys were talking about how candida spreads throughout the body.
We were talking about when it we talked about the gut area earlier, but what happens when we leave the gut? And as Kit was saying during the break, I'd love to delve into this a little bit about how you said that the mold and the candida, whatever you want to call it, can also pass the blood-brain barrier, and that scares the heck out of me. How does that happen?
Well, number one, don't be scared.
Okay. Well, yeah, no.
Okay.
Good call.
So it gets in the blood, and once it's in the blood, it runs around into the lymph nodes and lymph glands and gets delivered everywhere, looking for things to eat. And what it likes to eat is fat. So part of my research was working out, well, why don't you get, in inverted commas, cancer of the butt cheeks or the stomach fat? And that's a different type of fat. It's adipose tissue. Whereas the internal fat of somewhere like the brain or the breast or the testicles it'll love that fat, and it's quiet in there.
Or a fatty liver. People have that,
loves
right?
the liver. Absolutely loves the liver.
Good
And
point.
I've got pictures of Tullio Simoncini's slides of the liver cancer. So when it gets through, it's as you said, it's one of the things that crosses the blood-brain barrier. It gets into the brain and starts chomping away at the cells because it's doing its job. It's breaking down our body, decomposing it, because as far as the immune system's telling it,
That's
we're
what it
shutting
does.
down systems.
Yeah.
So the weird thing is, it doesn't just eat the cells. So the hydrolytic enzyme will break down nerves and neurons. What would that create? Something possibly like multiple sclerosis, for instance, or Alzheimer's. And, I'm saying possibly, I'm not a scientist. I wish somebody out there would start doing real pathology tests, trusted, so that we can actually find out exactly, the extent and what it does.
You mean if there's a candida relationship or maybe a cause to things like Alzheimer's or multiple sclerosis? Is that kind of what you're...
Absolutely, all of it. And somebody spoke with me today about cysts in the breast. Like I've had breast cancer, and I've had many cysts aspirated to test whether they were benign or malignant. And none of it, I never received the pathology report. Why would they show me that? But would they see it? And if they saw it, would they tell us? I know that sounds a bit conspiratory, I suppose. I suppose.
Well, no, it's probably true.
I hear you on it. Actually, I had a situation very similar. Remember when I was doing my coffee enemas daily, Jay, for a while there, and I got something out one time that looked like a tumor, and I said, I want this thing tested, took it to a lab, and there was no way that was normal, quote, fecal matter. And that's my answer I got back from the lab, and I thought there's no way. And even if they know, they're not going to tell me. They don't want to know that people can cure tumors out of their body or get things out just by doing a simple coffee enema. But it's that kind of thing. I sound like a conspiracy theorist too, but I'm like, there's so much that I don't even know if they'd be honest about that anyway. So we have to be in charge of our own.
Well, in Dr. Jennifer Daniels' report, she has so many stories of people who've used the turpentine, and as a result of the turpentine, literally tumors have come out of the body, like big tumors have come out of the body. Wow. So there is truth to that situation. So I just wanted to touch on about getting back into the gut with the Candida albicans. When the gut is so full, or the stomach is so full of this fungus, and we understand what it likes to eat, and sugar is a wonderful source, guess who chooses your food and drink?
It does.
Correct.
Yeah, not us.
So
that's what our
that is what
are.
your cravings are.
Yeah.
And when I did my first 2 days of the 4-day detox, I felt like killing someone. It was horrible. I felt flu-like symptoms. I'd felt shaky, hot, sweaty. I actually went to bed to try and get over this. And while I was there, I was thinking and reminiscing. My brother was an alcoholic and died of cancer-related issues. My father the same. Wow. And I eventually found that empathy or that sympathy, because if you are so choked up with this fungus, and it's determining what you eat and drink, how hard is it? If I'm like suffering, dying for a piece of bread, because, I was eating grains before this time, how hard would it have been for him? It gave me so much compassion for his situation, but it also made me think, my goodness, that's such a good way to help people who are affected by alcohol, because it's not just, they're alcoholics and therefore they should be, doing X, Y, Z. It's could be that they should be tested for Candida overgrowth, and if that's the case, helped with diet big time in this way, as well as the mind.
You got to have both
to change that. Absolutely.
You gotta have both.
Well, alcohol, is that one of the worst offenders? Because
it's pure sugar.
It's pure sugar.
But so is pure sugar.
It's yeast. You're just feeding and feeding and feeding.
So typically, when people say that we, as a culture, we're trying to get back to grounding ourselves in the body, when you take yoga classes and all this stuff, listening to your body, all this stuff, you have to that could be a tricky thing, right? Because if you're listening to your body and your body's screaming out with all these organisms trying to get wine and bread and sugary things, we can't always listen to our body. It's almost like you need to do some work first, and as you do a little bit more work on yourself, you can start trusting your body more.
That's an interesting point. Then you're listening to a lie that your body's feeding you.
Yeah, because if you listen to your body, if I were to listen to my body right now, I'd say, I'd go get some ice cream. Because that would On a hot day, that sounds
being
good,
aware of what the body's feeling, I would say, would be the issue here. Not what, just listening to your body and going and doing what it says.
Yeah.
Because that would be a very interesting world to live in. I think that it's more to the point is looking at your body and seeing what it's wanting, and then you making the decision and understanding that in you with your subconscious and your conscious minds, your subconscious mind being something that has already been pre-wired. So the behavior is already there, and the desires are already sort of like deeply ingrained through repeated behavior. Then if you want to change your desires for sugar or fat, you need to then do the opposite of how you got programmed in the first place. You need to do the opposite. Repeat information, whether it's going to be sitting there breathing and saying exactly what you want for yourself, or having post-it notes in every room of your house, so that the brain actually takes that on board and makes that your choice.
So how did you get awakened in this way when your father, you said, and your brother had alcohol-related issues and things like that? How did you become how you are now? What was the journey for you?
Well, amazing issue that happened in 2000 after bleeding from the bowel and having operations for 40 years. So that was the
turning point for you to...
For it to disappear in 7 days?
Well, for you, but you didn't get the, like right now, a lot of your work is really related to your mind and spirituality and how you think and all that. Did you think like that before any of this, or was 2000 when it all started for you? Physical and mental, spiritual, all that?
2000 was like somebody cracked on my head and it just opened up, and enlightenment might be a word. I'm not some guru or anything like that, but it blew apart all the ways that I looked at this world, because I looked at this world as my father's daughter, through control based on fear and everything that came with that. Yeah. So when I realized that if I practiced the word acceptance, I fought nothing. Now, I didn't know what I know now, so I thought it was a total spiritual answer and immersed myself in Buddhism for 5 years. And it was beautiful. I never got sick. I felt amazing because I fought nothing. So therefore, when you look at it on a physiological level, cortisol was not being produced in a regular way, which was happening all my life. So when you realize this, then your immune system doesn't get suppressed, and your body, which is amazing, can kind of sort out stuff all by itself. Then when I stepped out of Buddhism in 2005 and started studying quantum physics, neuroscience, neurobiology, and then when I came across Dr. Bruce Lipton's work while I was writing my book, I had to rewrite the end of it to put his stuff in, because he explained beautifully what I'd found out with Buddhism. I realized that, from that point on, that there's other ways of explaining what goes on with us. It's not just the spiritual or the mental or the physical. It's actually all these things. And as they beautifully put it, it's epigenetics. Everything surrounding the cell affects the cell. So I don't know whether I've answered the right question in the right way. I think I went off like a frog in a sock there.
No, but it's really, I think it's a big thing, because a lot of people in our culture just don't have any filter of what comes into their mind. They just take in anything. It's almost like
passive behavior, though. That
it's like people driving down the freeway, they always look at the accident because they want to see the mangled body. It's they want to see the horrific car crash. But I think it's super important to treat your mind in the same way that you treat your body, your gut, your organs, and to treat your health. And you can't just let everything in. You can't just watch the news and read newspapers. And I mean, that's recipe for
disease right there.
Whatever you observe, you absorb, in my understanding. So if you're trying to run this ship, because basically this ship you're in, you're the captain, right? And this ship that you're sitting in, all three of us sitting at this table right now, not one cell of our bodies sitting here was here when we were born. Not one. So the oldest cell that we have, is 15 years. That's a muscle. The skin on our body, 28 days. The inside of our bowel lining, 3 days. So cells are living and dying, living and dying, living and dying. And there's only one constant. So that's the energy or the soul or the spirit, whatever you want to call it, the energy within this mass, which is the same as energy without, that's sort of the driving force. So when you see truth, like you really get it, you fundamentally change the way you think. So it's not like, when you speak to someone and they're in strife and you talk to them, and I've seen this window open up in their mind, in their eyes. I've seen it, and I go, oh, beautiful, Mm-hmm. But then they go back to their homes. They go back to their lives, and then maybe their lives aren't, that good. So all old patterns and old behaviors just suck them back in again.
Right,
so it is a struggle. You have to say, I've got to get help. I need help. And I was hopeless at asking for help. Absolutely hopeless. But that's what people need to do, if that's what they want. Because under my understanding, there's only two choices in life, to feel good or feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, some people are addicted to feeling bad.
Yeah, and it might serve them in some unconscious, subconscious way to
There's
have
always
that
a payoff.
Yeah, to complain, so you feel like you're getting a little bit of power by complaining or something. Something that you and I have been talking about lately, Kate, it was really cool, is the idea that in the same way that a power plant doesn't have power in it, it generates power. That's the kind of thing where, every day we have, chaos happening, stressful situations with people at work or whatever.
On the freeway,
driving down here.
It's true.
We all have these things happen every day, but setting your intention and saying that I am going to be a person that has high vibration energy, I am going to be a person in a happy, good mood, that it's like a power plant. It creates the energy. You have to create it because it's not there.
Not just there.
You have to make it, right?
Absolutely. That is so beautifully put. You've got it knocked on the head. There you go.
I mean, I
you
just started thinking about that and reading about that in the last couple of weeks, and it's like, it's funny, these simple little truths that you just stumble across. And how many years have we all been alive? And why didn't we? Wish we had known this,
But it's so profound when you're on this journey. There's something different. We're at a different spot where that just impacted you more than if you would have heard it 10 years ago. I just think there's some sort of growth that you resonate at different levels at different times. And when you said it the other day, I'm like, well, of course. But it hit me in a whole new way because of where I'm at now. And I don't know. I just think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's good to be aware of, that's for sure.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. So this this idea of the candida causing issues, I thought it was really interesting what you said a few minutes ago about getting into the brain, because like you mentioned during the break, you talked about people having foggy brain, but maybe there's an issue with tumors in the brain, Alzheimer's. What are the other ones?
The tumors in the brain are occurring because the body then insists that particular area of fungus does exactly what it does in the bowel.
Wait, what did you say?
It tries to encyst it. ENCYST.
Oh, encyst it. Okay. Wow.
It'll do that everywhere in the breast. My half-brother died of testicular cancer, and I wanted to understand why. How the dickens does it get down there? Mm-hmm. And I searched and searched, and bang, there it was. There's a direct lymph gland from the gut going straight into the testes. So very often in my talk, because fungus does not like oxygen. It does not like an aerobic environment.
Or light as well? Light and oxygen?
Yeah. But one thing it doesn't like is oxygen. So I've just put up a new YouTube video on my YouTube site, meeting a guy called Jerry at the Health Equation. He uses a capometer or something, which shows you how you exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide correctly, so the oxygen actually gets into the cell correctly.
Okay.
But you think about bloke, he's chummy, he goes to work 9 to 5, gets on the train, go home, has his tea, sitting down at the table, goes onto the couch, watches television, gets onto the bed, sleeps, gets up in the morning, goes on the train, does exactly the same thing. So let's say he's not having sex or playing with his balls. There's no circulation. There's no oxygen.
Right.
Recipe. Recipe.
Yeah, on a lot of levels.
Well, when I looked at the research between women in nunneries,
Nuns,
thank you, nuns.
Yeah.
Nuns. They did a study between nuns and women who were in relationships, physical relationships, and there was more cases of breast cancer in the nuns than there was in the ones in relationships. Why? And again, I'm not saying definitely, but there's a possibility it could be, stimulation. We need to move. We need to take in oxygen through breathing correctly, through drinking good water. I don't mean water out of the tap. I cannot believe this whole fluoride situation around the world, but that's another topic.
Yeah.
Get yourself some alkaline water. Make yourself alkaline water, whether you're going to use distilled water. I have a distiller in London. I'm going to get one for Australia, even though I drink rainwater. But also reverse osmosis. Drink water and move around, get wonderful massages, doing yoga, funnily enough, breathing. After doing that test with Jerry, you need to do the right exchange of breathing in yoga, but a lot of their poses are alkaline based. They create alkalinity, which is fantastic. We need to make sure we don't go into acidosis. So
have you ever done the yogic breathing? A lot of people do the breath of fire, but there's a one that's Uddiyana Bandha, or no, not that's a type of yoga. That. It's where you see the muscles of the stomach suck in, and the person can massage their organs with their breath. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, that's pretty intense. I remember just watching YouTube videos on that.
Yeah, it's
pretty wild.
People can do that, and you can go on YouTube and find, and people will show you how to do it. But the muscles of the stomach, if you look at someone doing it, it looks very pliable because they've been doing this for a lot of years. But what they'll do is they'll suck in and they'll breathe in certain parts of their stomach, and their whole stomach is just kind of doing this thing, and it's all moving based on they're sucking in. It's amazing, and it's supposed to be really great for digestion. And but I wonder if breathing like that would help bring more oxygen to the cells or into the cells. Or
I can't comment on that because I don't know the practice. So. I only sort of like to talk about what I know and experience.
So we all have fungus and candida, and what a lot of people think is that people want to completely eliminate candida, but candida
yeast is fine. It has a job to do.
It's
eats
dead
organic matter in the bowel.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. So when people say, "Oh, you need to get rid of candida or yeast,
wipe it all
out," it's like you don't want to have too much collateral damage there.
No.
Well, which brings us to the question of how does someone know if it's candida yeast or candida albicans?
Well, it's hard, sadly to say. It's very hard, and there isn't a definitive test, and I'm sure someone's scrambling out there to get one together. I spoke to a head doctorate oncologist at the Hammersmith Hospital, and he said they only do candida tests when somebody's in full acidosis, or they suspect it, i.e. the disease of whatever they're experiencing is so bad they do an arterial candida test. It has to be arterial blood, not from the vein. I find this amazing. There is an old test that's been quite successful for many, many years. Some people say it's not definitive, but I've done the test. It's on my website. The first one was really bad. And then as I changed my diet and added bicarbonate soda, it got less. So I knew that this test was quite effective. And it's take a glass of water to bed tonight. I want everybody to do this test. So take a glass of water to bed. And in the morning, don't kiss anyone, don't drink coffee or tea or water. Scrape down your tongue with your top teeth and then chew either side of the tongue and then drop that spittle onto the surface of the water. Now, if it stays on the top and it's clear and there are no strings coming down or anything, you're fine. Watch it over a period of 1 hour, no more. If, however, it's slightly cloudy or it starts to drop down strings, or it gets speckly in the middle, or at the end of the hour, you'll find like a white circle at the bottom, like a cloudy white circle at the bottom, you're in candida overgrowth, in my understanding.
Okay, so you scrape your tongue with your teeth like that? Okay.
Yeah, you draw your top teeth down on your tongue to the tip, so you're scraping what's on the tongue off, kind of thing.
Okay.
And then just lightly chew either side of your tongue to get a bit of saliva happening.
I see. Okay.
And then drop that into the water.
And then watch that and monitor that for about
over
an hour.
Yeah. Mine fell down in curtains within a second.
Wow.
I
Okay,
was
so
absolutely overgrowth.
let's take a little bit of a break, but I want to ask you about the bicarbonate when we come back from the break, about how you did that. So, wow. Do you realize that Jennifer Daniels was on our show talking about turpentine? And she was episode 222.
No way.
Yeah, episode 222.
That's so cool.
I just put it in the chat room. So I wonder if there's something interesting about today's date. No, October 23rd. No, but I thought that was pretty interesting.
I love it.
All right, so we're with Kit Campbell. This is episode 333. Please check out that particular show page. We'll put all the notes and everything we have on there as soon as the podcast becomes available, so check that out. And we'll be right back with Kit Campbell right after this break. The history of heat therapy dates back over 2,400 years, and it was Hippocrates who said, "Give me the power to produce fever, and I will cure all disease." This FDA-approved medical device called the Biomat is a mat that you can lay on, read on, sleep on, do yoga on, sit on, and it can be used on office chairs, massage tables, and the like to help the body heal itself. It's inlaid with 30 pounds of healing crystals using amethyst and a rare black tourmaline, producing negative ions in a healing electrical field. These healing crystals help to restore cellular health by replacing electrons to the atoms, as well as penetrating deep into the body by 4 to 6 inches. What can the Biomat do for you? It'll improve your skin, burns as many calories as if you went jogging for 30 minutes. It improves the immune system by up to 40% or more, reduces stress and fatigue, removes toxins, lowers cholesterol, relieves pain, revitalizes cellular metabolism. It improves cell channels to deliver nutrients and oxygen to every one of your cells. It activates over 3,000 enzymes. And even a Harvard medical study showed cancer cells die at over 42 degrees Celsius. It reduces stress hormones by up to 78%. It allows your body to produce heat shock proteins, which increases endorphins, NK cells, T cells, and lymphocytes. It's very, very low EMF, and it's got a 17-layer technology. Dr. Mark Serkis is the director of the International Medical Veritas Association. Explain to us more about these biomats.
These biomats are these far infrared mattresses. You lay on them, or you sleep on them, or both. You do very heavy treatments during the day, and at night you sleep at just a nice, comfortable temperature. These biomats are like these love machines, comfort machines, and healing machines, because what they do is they just radiate out light, far infrared light, and you can radiate yourself all night long while you're sleeping when you're not doing anything else. And what happens is this light penetrates the body and turns to heat. And the first thing that happens when you bring your core body temperature up 1 degree is your immune system strength increases by 40-50%. They feel when you lay down on them, you guys know, you have one. So it's like the feeling is so good. It's like being in the cuddling with a lover, your wife or husband. It's just warmth and comfort.
How are you using biomats for patients in your clinics?
The cancer treatment using heat is very aggressive, meaning during the day, you sandwich yourself in between two of them, turn it on to high heat, and bake the cancer. The cancer will die before you will. No, this is, you can awesome. Go to England and spend $20,000 and use microwave a cancer out of existence. These biomats basically do the same thing. Radiation therapy for cancer is really a solid idea. Unfortunately, oncologists use the wrong radiation. They use radiation that kills you. This biomat uses radiation that can save your life and make your life more comfortable, keep you warm in the cold, and help take care of your kids and all. The list doesn't end.
Yeah, because isn't there some sort of temperature at which cancer cells will start dying?
Right, and it's below the temperature that human cells will die.
So you really like this biomat far infrared technology, don't you?
But it's strengthened me. Well, now the kids are addicted to it. They fight on who's going to sleep on it at night. And it not only changed my life, but it changed my medical practice and my books. This is a great machine for anybody who lives in the cold during the winter. Instead of heating a big house, you just heat yourself. Bottom line, it brings good feelings. Just lay on this biomat, and it gives the strength back.
I can attest to that indeed. Kate and I love ours, and we think you will too. Learn more about these amazing biomats at extremehealthradio.com/biomat. Or you could check them out in our store as well. Again, that's extremehealthradio.com/biomat.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
We're having a great time here with Kit Campbell, episode 333. I hope you guys are enjoying your day, enjoying the show. This is an awesome show, and her website, if you guys want to check that out, is kitcampbell.com, and you can look at that and sign up to her newsletter list and look at everything that she's up to, as well as she has her book on there, The Irritable Brain Syndrome, which I would highly, highly recommend you check out. Awesome information. And Kit, I wanted to ask you, let me turn you up there. I wanted to ask you about baking soda, because you said you started to use a little bit of baking soda as soon as you found out that you had candida. How did you use the baking soda?
Well, the baking soda, bicarbonate of soda, I get mine from a health food store. No aluminium, thank you very much. So I don't go to get it from the supermarket. Was when I came across Dr. Tullio Simoncini. Made so much sense, because bicarbonate of soda in water, it's going to carry 3 molecules of oxygen, as opposed to just 1 molecule of oxygen when you're using H2O. So I started taking a level teaspoon once a day. And then, since speaking with Tony P, and understanding mixing ascorbic acid, vitamin C, and bicarbonate of soda, and what it does and how it binds together and works, becomes more effective. I now do that together, and I do that twice a day at the moment.
You do 1 teaspoon
level teaspoon,
1
not
level
heat.
teaspoon.
Yeah, do it twice a day.
And then, in how much water do you put that?
Usually just a normal glass. I mean, the amount of water isn't that important. It's just, because you can have it strong or weak. It's up to you.
Right.
There is an even better way of delivering vitamin C, because obviously what you don't need, the body just gets rid of. So you can actually break that down into 3-hourly intervals, so that you're not, make smaller mixtures. So you're not sort of giving it into your body in one shot and it just gets weed away.
Is there an issue with this sodium bicarbonate and the stomach acid? Is there any issues there?
I've gone and researched into that as well, and basically I wish I could give you the quote of what the level of the acid is in the stomach, but I can't tell you off the top of my head. But the amount of bicarbonate soda that I take will make no difference whatsoever to that situation.
Okay, because a lot of people will say that there's an issue there, and so when you take the water twice a day and
first thing in the morning,
a level teaspoon, so you do that first thing in the morning
before I eat.
And how has that been helping? Do you think you've been retesting your candida levels? And
yes, I guess that for me, I notice most of my problems through the sinuses. So I've been pushing myself. I've been on 1, 2, 3, 4 flights of over 7 hours each time, and each time I've landed, I've been fairly sick with the sinus has got really bad. And don't even get me started on what they put in the cabin and how they humidify the air in there, and the fact that they don't use real oxygen. Oh, did I just say that?
I have to ask you now.
I know. You can't.
I have to ask you, because we take, we
just
fly
mention
every now
that in passing.
Well, they used to use the oxygen on the outside of the plane, which was great. Takes too much fuel. So they use the oxygen on the inside of the plane, and they put it through a filter system, and they rehumidify it with human sputum.
Really?
But it's all filtered, so it's fine. Anyway, apparently.
I'm surprised you don't take boats everywhere.
Yeah. Oh,
well, that would take a long time.
I tell you. I
know.
But, sorry, what was that?
What were you?
About
baking
soda,
bicarbonate? Shoot, you just had a really great question.
Oh, yes, that's right. So when my sinuses get bad, I know that it's getting more. So say, for instance, the last time I took turpentine before last night was 6 days. And I've never been able to go 6 days without taking the turpentine, without feeling the continual production of phlegm or mucus.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it again with the oil last night. and it's reversing it again today. So I've been using myself as a guinea pig. I'm doing all of these things that I talk about on myself. And does it make a difference? Absolutely. And I saw another comment the other day on my Facebook page where this lady said, that we've got this problem for life. I don't agree. I absolutely don't agree. And I'm going to continue doing this, continue researching until I can find a way to bring my body way back into balance, to get this candida yeast being and doing what it's meant to do, and making sure that the fungus doesn't kick in until my heart stops.
Amen.
I wonder how many... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no.
No, I was going to say, you just said heart stops. I wonder how many heart attacks are related, caused by fungus. I bet you a lot of them.
Wouldn't know on that one because heart attacks come for different reasons. And it's not a topic that I'd have to go and research that.
Yeah, but it would be. I bet you there's.
I bet there's some correlation. I'm sure.
Isn't it amazing? In 2014, I feel like we should know so much more. I feel like we know about less than 1% of what's really going on.
Yeah, but look who's doing all the research and getting it out into the media.
Yeah, exactly.
And getting it FDA approved.
I know. It's just amazing, though,
So why kit with why oil with turpentine in this situation and not the sugar cubes?
As I mentioned with the sugar, Dr. Jennifer Daniels, she's pulling it all into the GI tract.
So you're trying to keep it.
Ultimately, that's where I went first. And then I used Tony P's honey. Again, sugar, GI tract.
With the turpentine?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I used the oil so that I could start targeting this side of my head. And then with the bicarbonate soda mix and all the other stuff that I take, using the turpentine seems to be... I can't tell you how good I feel. It's just great. And I'll tell you something else that Candida albicans like, apart from the brain, the organs and everywhere else, is joints. Nice bit of synovial fluid in your knees and your elbows and all the rest of it. I used to have pain walking downstairs. No, nothing.
No more.
No. Unless I'm going into overgrowth, unless I'm pushing myself. Because I want to keep pushing myself to see how far I can get, to see how better I am. Because if I'm doing the test and I'm taking the turpentine, is that a true test that I'm clear and free? So I have to then take a break. And I'd like to see myself get to 2 weeks. And then I'd like to see myself get to 3 weeks.
Wow.
You are a walking lab experiment.
Absolutely.
We all should be, though.
We all should be, because we're all so different.
Considering there's about 70 to 90% of humans walking around already decomposing while they're alive.
AKA Candida.
Yeah, overgrowth, absolutely.
So we have a question in the chat room. What does Kit think about baking soda enemas and probiotic implants rectally for digestive health?
Whoa.
Whoa.
I'll have to say that I don't use enemas. I have done in the past. I haven't been doing colonics or any of that. I've been doing everything systemically. My bowel has been removed, most of the left descending colon from just before the appendix up into and including my ileum. So that whole part has been removed. And it kind of didn't really appeal to me. Now, the logic of putting bicarbonate soda there in a solution makes a lot of sense, in the sense that, if the Candida albicans is there, although I'd be targeting the top end first, do the colonics maybe, for sure. I mean, I know that Dr. Jennifer Daniels advocates that. As a way of creating a clean chute, because you want these little critters to come, literally drop straight down.
Yeah.
Because if they have the opportunity to hide somewhere in your back, in your knees, in your feet, in other areas of your body, they will.
They're going there,
because they have this ability to get into the deep cell tissue of your body. I've got videos of it. It's all so obviously out there.
Yeah.
But unless one of us, like Dr. Daniels, when she stuck her head out, she was exiled from America after being a GP here for 10 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. She's down in Costa. Yeah.
Panama.
Amazing.
So
we have another listener question here that came in from Gail. She says, we took a part of your last talk and used some of it where we do a Qigong advertisement, and she says, I remember Kit doing the infomercial for you on the Qigong. Maybe you could ask her if she knows if the practice of Qigong and Qi organ abdominal massage are good for digestive problems. Qigong good for digestive problems, or Qigong organ abdominal massage? I've never heard of that. Have you?
Well, I haven't, but it just what she's saying makes a lot of sense. Qigong works basically, you're using the energy flow deep within the body, unlike Tai Chi, where the energy flows under the skin because it's more of a martial art, so it's movement. And with Qigong, considering after a conversation about all our cells have lived and died, and we are energy, and everything's energy, there is no matter, there is no reality. No, don't go off there. Anyway, it all makes...
Roper backhand.
It all makes so much sense. So it's like we can exchange energy with others, and that energy will be accepted. So why can't we do it to ourselves? And the answer is we can. So it's all about the intention behind the action. And this is everything in life. All that you do, think, speak, everything. It's your intention behind your action. And if your intention by using Qigong or doing the Qigong massage, I can only see that as actually putting energy into an area, which can only be a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it?
It does make sense.
Makes a lot of sense. We had a guest on who was talking once about how you ever, doing the dishes and you feel like someone's behind you kind of thing, or you're walking, you feel like someone's behind you. She was talking about, it was really interesting about how the bacteria and the fungus and all of that, because like you just said, everything's energy. She was saying that the sixth sense is actually what is happening when your bacteria is communicating with my bacteria, and you can sense that I'm there or I'm behind you or something like that. And it's a transfer, an energy transfer exchange going on between bacteria. And that's what gives us our sixth sense.
That is the craziest concept.
Crazy.
Okay.
Weird, huh?
Right.
Talk about going in the Twilight Zone. But it's pretty interesting. I mean, who knows? Maybe in 100 years.
But what's the bacteria? What's the bacteria?
Well, all the bacteria.
Just your...
Okay.
You're friendly and not so friendly.
I'm not quite sure about that in the sixth sense. I would like to learn more about that. I feel that we're really restricted with this human body. We can only see with eyes that see reflected light and only a certain density of molecular structure. So we can't see gas. We can't see oxygen. We can just see water when there's a meniscus against the glass. But we have to use this body. We can hear only certain pitches.
Right.
We're very restricted in a lot of ways. So whether this sixth sense is bacteria in the gut or whether it's part of our consciousness that gets blocked when we get over the age of 4 or 6 years old. When I believe that we're really truly, we know everything when we're like naught.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we get taught how to wear the spacesuit of another who knows how to handle theirs. That's it. And then we see the world the way that they teach us.
Yep.
And our job is basically to work out what works for us and choose, to feel good, not to feel bad.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to help people, or not help people, but, share my story so that people actually create their own private health insurance. They don't fall to the fear factory of having their own sort of paying for private health insurance.
Right.
Because you're going to be looked after no matter what, surely. I mean, there's always a place for medicine. There's always a place for surgery. I would go to a hospital if I broke my leg or something and I needed a cast. I needed to talk to people who knew how to do that.
Right.
Or maybe I should go in the wood and go and find 2 pieces of stick and a bit of twine and just wrap it up, mate. I'll be right. But so
interesting. Yeah. Did we have another listener question?
I blew it. It was about something else. He responded like he was going to, and then it went somewhere else. Said no.
So part of our, part of what we're all trying to do is unravel the teachings that we've been given and handed down through different generations and different ideas and modalities from our parents, our family line, our friends and family. Is trying to unravel that and get to the point where we're able to start thinking about things on our own and coming up with our own opinions and our own how we're going to set the sails of our own life ourselves. And I think that's part of what your work is, teaching people how to do that as well, right?
Well, considering that when you're thinking, who is thinking? If you've been trained to think, aren't you thinking like your mother or your father or somebody who is quite a strong influence in your life?
Right.
And if you're thinking how you were trained to think, what are you might be walking not your life, you're walking someone else's life. When you get to be lucky enough, and it's usually a terrible illness or a catalyst, a great catalyst that happens in your life where you go, hey,
wake up,
wait a minute, wake up. Pretty similar, when you were talking before. I choose to feel good. What can I do? What thoughts am I going to have that I make sure that this doesn't happen?
Yeah.
And the sentence is, I think with my mind. I and mind are two separate things. I is subject, mind is object, thinking is verb. So when the mind creates thought, the brain responds specifically sending chemicals and hormones out. So when we become the observer of the mind, when we become the essence, the being, the presence that's within all the cells, which is what we truly are, we have that ability to watch the mind. And the best barometer for this is usually the stomach when we feel uncomfortable. What am I thinking? First question. What can I do about it? If I can't do anything about it, let it go. Accept, and then act. It's so powerful. And you lose no energy. But when you don't accept and you fight, you lose energy with your anger, irritation, frustration, anxiety, all these things.
We're losing our life force energy that way.
Well, yes, you. That's who you are. This is nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just a apparition, man.
Yeah. So this is awesome. So tonight you have plans and you're going to go, how long are you going to be in the U.S.? I forget what you said.
On a plane on the 31st.
On the 31st, Halloween.
Is it?
Halloween.
Oh, I've been looking at all these houses with all this sort of orange pumpkins and things sticking out here.
You don't really do that.
Well, I think the American-ness of Halloween has hit the Australian shores, and I'm sure it has in London too.
Yeah.
It doesn't really hit my house.
No. Not a lot of people
celebrate. It doesn't hit our house either.
Yeah.
We observe it from
I like roast pumpkin, but I'll have that anytime.
Yeah.
So how long is the flight? You fly back? You go to Sydney or Melbourne? And then
Melbourne. I think it's about 13 hours.
13 hours. And how long is the flight from Melbourne to Tasmania?
1.
One.
Wow.
That's real quick.
I got 3 hours in between.
That's a 4 hour difference.
Phew.
No, I'll be sitting in the lounge for 3 hours waiting for my next flight.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Wow, that's
must when the devil drives.
I know, right? Well, thanks for coming in the studio today.
Whoa, thank you so much for finding me before I left. I think that's just so awesome. To be able to come down today. Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
And we'll wish you good energy driving back up so that you don't make any wrong turns and I'm
going on the PCH.
runs you off the road.
Actually.
All right, so if you guys are interested in checking out Kit Campbell's website, you can go to kitcampbell.com. And there's lots of different things there. I saw that you have a store there with different things. You have a newsletter list for people.
Yep.
And what else? You have your events, I think you had.
And your blog.
Your blog, different reviews and ways for people to contact you. And if they want to contact you to do some work via Skype, you're able to do that as well, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So you can
Skype or telephone. I have international calling now, so I ring people all over the place, and I've been doing it for quite a few years now.
Oh, cool. And you help people just with all kinds of different
any issues, yeah. I mean, if I can't, then I'll help them find somebody or somewhere that they can.
That's so cool. It's just an awesome thing in today's world. It's just, I think it's so great to be able to have access to the internet and to be able to work like this.
So much so.
Imagine if there were no internet right now.
You wouldn't be sitting here.
We wouldn't be doing any of
None
this.
of us would be doing any of this.
So it's really great.
The time to come to Venice.
I was going to say on the 28th.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Got the book signed.
Which is next Tuesday.
Yeah,
okay,
6:30 to 8:30, Abbot Kinney Road, Mystic Journey Bookstore.
Mystic Journey.
Got it right here. We'll put a link.
Venice.
Thank you.
Have you been to Venice yet?
Venice Beach, yes, a couple of times.
I've never been there. You get Muscle Beach there, right? You got all the gyms. I heard, and
that's what it's famous for.
All the wacky people going around.
Roller skaters with their high socks or their stripes on them. And
I think you go down that road once, and then you go, right, I've gone down that road.
I've done that. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I would agree.
All right, thanks, Kit, for being on the show.
Thank you so much, guys.
Really appreciate it.
That's great.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the live show. We really appreciate that. Hopefully, our voices came in less muddled as we continued on. We really appreciate it. And our next show is going to be on Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. If you guys would like to join us on that show, you can listen at 9 a.m. at extremehealthradio.com/live. And you can join the chat room and make some friends in there. And please pass the show on to your friends as well. Another great way to support us, if you can, remember, is to go over to iTunes and type Extreme Health Radio, all one word, in the store. I think you have to log in. Leave us a review.
Please,
apparently that helps a lot. So,
well, thank you.
Oh, thank you. So,
We'll
thank
take
you,
all we can
everybody,
get.
for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Hey, everybody, this is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter. And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
That's so good.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent any disease or condition. While information in this blog is discussed in the context of numerous conditions, it can be dangerous to take action based on any information in this blog or to start any health program without first consulting a health professional. The content found here is for informational purposes only and is in no way intended as medical advice, as a substitute for medical counseling, or as a treatment/cure for any disease or health condition, and nor should it be continued as such. Always work with a qualified healthcare professional before making any changes to your diet, prescription drug use, lifestyle, or exercise activities. This information is provided as is, and the reader/viewer assumes all risks from the use, non-use, or misuse of this information.